Zareen Sheikh did not tell anyone about her new duties given to her by her supervisor. When she got home after work, she did not tell her brother or anyone a word of what her boss had said was to be her official duties. Her pimp had made it clear she was to keep her mouth shut. While Zareen was waiting for her foreign boss to arrive, Muhammad Khan sent some of his most trustworthy of friends, the Gondas, to search for Rehana Khan in the biggest slum area in Asia and second largest slum area in the world. It took the Gondas 6 days to locate the hiding place of the slum woman. Rehana's sons and mother were found inside the slum, but she and her daughter weren't there. According to the mother, Rehana and her daughter flew to the Arab country where there was the holy house of Allah and the shrine of the Prophet Muhammad. The Gondas took some pictures with the mother and her grandchildren as evidence that they had succeeded in their mission of finding the slum of Rehana Khan. Although the photos were presented as proof to Muhammad Khan along with this incredible report, he still did not believe his messengers. He asked himself repeatedly, how Rehana and her daughter could possibly fly to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia without their passports. He was certain of the fact he was the one who had received their passports and burned them to ashes. He also remembered that Rehana's previous passport was stolen by the police and sold to that Malayali woman who went to Saudi Arabia and claimed to be Rehana Khan. In order to clear his doubts, he picked up his phone and called the Worli passport office and inquired about how many passports were issued to Rehana Khan. His spy checked the computer and gave him all the details concerning the separate dates and addresses that were used in the processing of both passports for Rehana and for her daughter. The spy assured him that Rehana Khan had not come to reapply again for new passports. At first Muhammad thought that the Gondas had cheated him by taking some pictures of some slum children and their grandmother and presenting these as evidence to him just to get their money. If that was the case, he reasoned that he had better use more capable Gondas for this mission. They would be better suited to find Rehana, and at the same time, he would have reason to get his money back from the incompetent Gondas. Before he would carry out this new plan, he decided to check with the Sahara International Airport. He picked up his phone and called the airport and spoke to one of his spies there. When the spy checked the computer, he confirmed the claim of the low-level Gondas. The computer showed that 2 Indian passengers by the names of Rehana Khan and Ifat Khan had flown by a Saudi jumbo jet to Jeddah International Airport. Muhammad Khan asked the spy to find out what kind of travel documents the passengers used to fly out of the country. The spy told him a passenger must have a valid passport, visa, and ticket to travel or board a flight out of the country. The computer showed nothing to indicate that the 2 passengers did not have the necessary travel documents. Instead of thanking him, the angry, ungrateful, dumbfounded Galut shouted at the spy because he had failed to block Rehana and her daughter's exit out of the country. The spy refused to give an explanation or apologize to Muhammad Khan and instead abruptly hung up the phone. Sheikh Ahmed and the 11 medical doctors arrived in Bombay a day prior to the interviews. The doctors were booked into the Oberoi Hotel while Sheikh Ahmed was booked in the Taj Mahal Hotel. Muhammad Khan made the accommodations under the direction of his Saudi client. Sheikh Ahmed did not want the Saudi doctors to know what he was planning to do in his hotel room with the beautiful 19-year-old virgin that his call girl service had found and reserved for him. As soon as he checked in at the Taj Mahal Hotel, Sheikh Ahmed took a taxi to the Muhammad Travel Agency. He was eager to consult with his pimp and view his beautiful virgin. He also wanted to know what Muhammad Khan had done to the black slave boy who had cheated him. On his arrival, Muhammad Khan called in Zareen Sheikh and introduced her to her foreign boss. The foreign boss was well pleased by the beautiful virgin. The 19-year-old girl appeared to him modest as compared to his gorgeous, beautiful, sensuous, and womanly Rehana Khan. As soon as the Zareen left the office, Sheikh Ahmed inquired about his missing maidservant and whether Babakir received his punishment. The pimp told Sheikh Ahmed that he had indeed found the Negro boy and sent him to prison forever. Sheikh Ahmed felt a great sigh of relief and appreciated the good work that his client had done in punishing his deceiver. Regarding Rehana and her daughter, Muhammad Khan decided to be half-truthful. He told Sheikh Ahmed according to his spy at the Worli passport office, the new passports for the maidservant and her daughter were mailed to the Sudanese slave's residence, and apparently he sold the passports to another travel agency. That was a lie, of course, for he himself had burned them. The truth of the matter, Muhammad Khan was happy to report to Sheikh Ahmed, is the incredible news he received from his Gondas and spy at the international airport. Rayhana and her daughter somehow managed to board the flight to Saudi Arabia anyhow without their passports. He did not tell him that he had received their passports and destroyed them. Sheikh Ahmed refused to believe that Rayhana and her daughter had reached Saudi Arabia without their passports until Muhammad Khan swore by Allah to divorce his wife if what he said wasn't the absolute truth. Halfway believing this too good to be true story, Sheikh Ahmed thanked his Asian nation pimp and told him to send his foreign academic assistant educator as soon as possible to his hotel room at the Taj Mahal Hotel. This was so he could begin work on her. Before Sheikh Ahmed had arrived in Bombay and come into his office and then left, Muhammad Khan was planning to send the young beautiful virgin to him. When he called Zareen in and she came and stood in front of him and he examined her up and down, he changed his mind. Muhammad had already told Zareen to agree to everything except sex with Sheikh Ahmed. Zareen gave her word and promised her concerned boss that she wouldn't sleep with the old Arab. But from the moment she came and stood before him, his wicked heart began to doubt her resolve. He had come to know her as a happy-go-lucky, carefree girl. She might agree to have sex with the wealthy old Arab if he tempted her with a few thousand rupees. Nevertheless, Muhammad decided to keep his promise and send the virgin to the hotel room, but he also decided to make sure that Sheikh Ahmed would not touch her. Before he executed his plan, he explained it fully to Zareen and told her not to disappoint him. Zareen gave her word and swore by her Allah that she would do everything he told her to do. It was one of the most exciting times in the life of Sheikh Ahmed. His mind was occupied with the problem of where his beloved maidservant was at this point in time, and his penis was thinking about the young virgin who was supposed to come entertain him at any moment. However, the arrival of Rayhana and her daughter in Jeddah without their passports occupied most of his mind. While he was thinking about them, something suddenly entered his thoughts. Although Muhammad Khan was a genius in doing evil and cheating people, that day he made a huge mistake that would soon expose him for who he really was. Sheikh Ahmed discovered that mistake by himself as soon as he reached the hotel. He was about to see just how fragile his new realigned partnership really was. He asked himself, if Babakir had cheated him and stolen the 2 tickets and visas and sold them to another travel agency, then how did Rayhana and her daughter reach Jeddah? The information that Muhammad Khan obtained from the Sahara International Airport revealed that Rayhana and her daughter had flown to Jeddah with all their necessary documents. Then, Muhammad Khan contradicted himself and said they did not have their passports but they had their tickets and visas. That means Babakir didn't lie to him and didn't steal the visas and tickets. The logical conclusion was that the Sudanese boy had truly found Rayhana and given her the visas and tickets. Sheikh Ahmed expected that Rayhana and her daughter would be held up at the Jeddah airport. He anticipated that the airport personnel would contact his office from the Jeddah airport because he was their sponsor. Sheikh Ahmed realized his next step would be to arrange travel accommodations from the airport for his beloved and her precious child. The airport might not allow him to take his Indian maidservant and her daughter home without their passports. If he failed to convince the airport officials to allow them to enter the city or produce their passports, Rayhana and her daughter might be arrested, tried, and deported back to India. Therefore, his main concern was to get passports for them before they would be sent back to their country. Sheikh Ahmed's mind became so preoccupied about how to get his beloved through Jeddah International Airport that he totally forgot about the fresh beautiful virgin that would soon be lying naked in his bed, until the doorbell rang. He got up from his bed and opened the door. The beautiful Zareen Sheikh was standing in front of him. He wanted to hold her voluptuous body in his arms but stopped when he saw another girl standing behind her. At first, he thought the other girl was a housekeeper in the hotel who had come to do his room. But he slowly realized that he had seen the girl before that very day in the travel agency. She was the ugliest Indian girl he ever seen in all his life. She came forward and introduced herself to him as Jamila. When she said her name was beautiful, he hated her even more. Sheikh Ahmed did not allow the two girls to enter his hotel room but kept them waiting by the door, and he went back into his room and called the travel agency. He asked Muhammad Khan the reason for sending the ugly girl along with his beautiful virgin. The pimp told the old man that Zareen Sheikh refused to go to meet an Arab man all alone by herself in a hotel room. He further told him that although he threatened to fire her, she said she would rather choose to quit her job than to go meet a man alone in a hotel room and stay with him by herself. For that reason, the Pandora of flesh said he was compelled to send another girl with her. The pimp, somehow, put some hope in the heart of the old Saudi by telling him to try to fool Jamila by sending her somewhere to buy food and drink, or when she goes to the washroom lock her up inside, or any trick like that. With a few suggested tricks up his sleeve, Sheikh Ahmed returned to his two female guests and welcomed them in. Despite 3 hours of trick or treat, nothing worked. It was as if the two girls were joined together at the hip or stuck together with glue. Neither of them would stay behind with the old man whenever the other was sent out of the room to buy food or do an errand like make the bed or look for the best Arab-speaking channels on TV. They both went to the washroom together 4 times. Whenever one of them would say "I am going to pee," the other would say "I need to pee too." When all the best tricks did not work, Sheikh Ahmed decided to use alcohol. He wanted to liquor them up so he could rape the virgin. Jamila said she never drank alcohol in her life and she would never ever touch the forbidden drink. Zareen admitted she had drunk alcohol before, but only with her boyfriend. She said she made a vow with her lover that she would never ever drink alcohol with anyone else except him. When Zareen mentioned boyfriend and the fact that she drank, it led the Arab to suspect that the Indian pimp had deceived him about her virginity. Finally, the Saudi got fed up with the two girls and kicked them out of his room so fast it made their heads spin. It didn't matter though if they were kicked out, for this was the most extravagant day they had ever had. The two girls enjoyed the most delicious and expensive foods and drank all kinds of sweet drinks and juices. That's why they went to the washroom 4 times together. Sheikh Ahmed knew that Muhammad Khan had fooled him. He concluded that Zareen didn't want to come alone to his hotel room and imposed certain conditions as to why she needed someone to come with her, but he figured his former car driver gave in to her request, for he wanted to save the beautiful young teenager all for himself. He also knew that Muhammad Khan was behind the arrest of the Sudanese boy. He openly admitted that he sent Babakir to jail. Since Babakir delivered the visas and tickets to Rayhana, why did his former boss get him in trouble with the law? Sheikh Ahmed picked up his cell phone and put this question to his business associate. Muhammad Khan said to him that he had followed his order and did what he wanted him to do. He punished the Sudanese slave by framing him with a serious crime. Sheikh Ahmed then regretted he had ever asked the former car driver to punish the Sudanese boy. After he talked to Muhammad Khan, Sheikh Ahmed visited the international student hostel and inquired about his best friend. Some Sudanese students narrated to him in tears how some evil people hid drugs in Babakir's bag and he was charged with the most dreaded crime in all of India. They told him further that Babakir would be tried and most probably after 3 years, he would be convicted and sentenced for life. Sheikh Ahmed thought that because of him the Sudanese boy's life was completely destroyed. Nonetheless, he did not linger on the great evil that had been done to Babakir through his instigation. His main concern was to visit Babakir in jail and find out why Rayhana and her daughter did not get their passports and why he sent them to Saudi Arabia without the proper paperwork. Babakir saw some hope when his wealthy Saudi friend came and visited him in prison. He requested him appoint a lawyer to represent him and fight his case. He swore by Allah and his Prophet Muhammad that he was innocent of the drug charges as the wolf was innocent of the blood of Yusuf, biblical Joseph. Joseph was the son of Jacob, whose brothers threw him into a pit to be rid of him and claimed that an evil beast had devoured him. Sheikh Ahmed made an empty promise to Babakir with no intention of keeping it. He decided never again to waste a single rupee on another Indian lawyer. He learned a good lesson from his experience with his ex-wife, Christy, the Christian girl who stole his money and kicked him off his property. Why would he spend another rupee on useless lawyers when the law allowed his wife to replace him with her much younger Indian lover? In speaking to his friend, Sheikh Ahmed learned that Babakir had found Rehana and delivered the money he sent to her and the 2 visas, and 2 tickets. The Sudanese boy informed Sheikh Ahmed that he never told Rehana to travel out of India without her passports. He said the 2 passports were supposed to come to his address, but he got arrested before they arrived. Then, he gave his Vakola colony apartment's address to Sheikh Ahmed and told him to go there and find out from the secretary of the colony whether the passports had arrived in the mail. Sheikh Ahmed's main concern was to get those 2 passports in order to rescue his beloved woman and her daughter from being prosecuted and deported back to their country. Accordingly, from Arthur Road Jail he travelled to Vakola colony and met with the secretary. The colony secretary was glad to meet a wealthy Saudi business tycoon. He gave him all the details about the activities of the young Sudanese men who used to live in the colony prior to their arrest. Sheikh Ahmed wasn't interested in those details, but in order to win the trust of the secretary he listened to him. When he asked him about the 2 passports, the secretary said he did not know anything about any passports. He did inform him that the apartment had new tenants who moved in shortly after the Sudanese students were arrested. The new tenants were foreign students from Jordan and Israel. Sheikh Ahmed requested the secretary introduce him to the Arab students. When the old Saudi met the Arab students, they told him that they had not seen any Indian passport in their mailbox. Sheikh Ahmed requested one of the Arab students go with him to the passport office to investigate the matter of the missing passports. The Arab student agreed to help and the old Saudi paid him for his time. They proceeded the same day to the Worli passport office and made good time. The persistent old geezer paid a heavy bribe to get information about the 2 passports of his beloved Rehana and her daughter. The bribe was successful and revealed the exact cause of the mysterious disappearance of the 2 passports. The 2 passports were reissued and sent to the office of Muhammad Tours and Travels through a speed post. Therefore, the search for the 2 missing passports began and ended with the wicked boss, Muhammad Khan. Sheikh Ahmed instantly saw that in retaliation for the humiliation and breaking up of his partnership with his former car driver, he had stolen the 2 passports and destroyed them. He not only destroyed the passports alone, but he destroyed the life of Babakir al-Awar and caused Rehana and her daughter to travel to the city of Jeddah, in Saudi Arabia, without their passports. Finally, they just like the Sudanese boy would land in jail. Sheikh Ahmed decided it was time for a real payback. Muhammad Khan would feel the full force and effect of Sheikh Ahmed's wrath when he executed the ultimate punishment and revenge upon his former car driver. Before he carried out his revenge, he paid 20,000 rupees as bribe to the most senior passport officer and demanded the 2 passports of Rehana and her daughter be reissued and handed over to him at once. The passport officer pulled out the 2 files and took out the photos of Rehana and her daughter and made new passports and handed them to Sheikh Ahmed the same day. After that, Sheikh Ahmed went to the 11 medical doctors at the Oberoi Hotel and told them the interview was called off because there was a great fraud committed by the travel agency that he had entrusted with the contract. He told them clearly that it was brought to him from very reliable sources that many of the candidates were not qualified nurses. Some of them were still studying at the nursing schools and some of them had never been to any nursing school. Worse than that, some of them received forged medical certificates obtained through bribes stating 5 to 10 years of work experience at a hospital when in actuality they had none. The travel agency accepted their applications because they were being paid huge bribes and kickbacks. The 11 doctors were shocked and outraged when they heard that these fraudulent practices had occurred at a trusted recruitment agency. Sheikh Ahmed promised them that he was going to find a reputable travel agency and transfer the contract to this new Indian agency. The doctors thanked Sheikh Ahmed for his honesty and for his sincere efforts in unearthing this crime at just the right time. On the advice of Sheikh Ahmed, the 11 doctors changed their booking and flew back the same night to Jeddah along with their Saudi contractor. In the plane, Sheikh Ahmed told the medical team that he had contacted a reliable recruitment agency in New Delhi and arranged for interviews in the near future for the desired number of highly qualified and well-experienced Indian nurses.